Hi, Mr. Aldemar. My name is Jesus. I'm going to answer your questions for the homework. So, most common diseases in my country, I think, are malaria, the Zika virus, chikungunya, and dengue, if I'm not wrong. Mm, the health system in my country does not work as well as it should be because the organization in public hospitals is very poor and they don't work effectively. On the other hand, the organization in private hospitals is a lot better, but there is an economical interest behind every service they give you. So if you are poor, if you don't have the money to pay a good medical system, you will probably not be a healthy person in this country. Next, yes, I have been in a hospital, but it was not that complicated. It was just like a little infection with a virus or something like that. Well, I thought initially that it was an infection, but it wasn't. It was just a virus. I kept puking and I had a very, very, very high fever, close to 40, and I thought I was going to die. Hospitals are kind of cool. For me, watching doctors running from place to place is kind of, let's say, interesting. Talking to nurses is kind of cool, and even talking to other patients. Even though they might be sick, I was also sick and I kind of tried to understand them. On the other hand, euthanasia. I do agree with euthanasia. I think it is a very human way to die and to have mercy for someone else. Euthanasia is a method in which you kill a person by his or her own consent. There are two types of euthanasia, if I'm not wrong, which are active, in which you introduce a venom inside a person's organism, or you can also have passive euthanasia, in which you just stop giving supplements for that person in a terminal condition. So that person just starts to die. Hi again. As I said before, I do agree with euthanasia. I believe it is a human way to die and to show mercy to another person. Many people say that it is against God's law, but in my personal case, I'm an atheist. I do not believe in God, and I understand that some people do. I mean, it's part of our culture, but personally, I believe it's just rather pathetic to think that it is not your right to die the way you want to die. To think that just because there is a God, you cannot decide on your own life. That's kind of wrong to me. Eh, as it might be obvious, I believe that it should be accepted. It shouldn't be seen as something bad, something wrong. No, nothing like that. It is not an issue for me and it should be legalized in all countries. Fortunately, for my opinions, in Colombia, euthanasia is legal and it is regulated. We are pioneers in that topic in our region. We were the first ones. If I'm not wrong, nowadays we are the only country in this region, in South America, that has legalized euthanasia. An argument in favor of euthanasia is that It is the only way in which a person with a terminal condition that cannot be cured can just pass away and relax. If there is another life after death, good, you stopped suffering. And so, if euthanasia saves lives, I believe it is not contradictory but rather ironic. Yeah, you're killing a person, but if you interpret it in another way, you might think that actually it's true. You can save a person by killing him or her. Imagine that you are suffering the worst pain ever. Like, I don't know how a chemotherapy works, but I don't know how it works, but I don't know how it feels. I don't know how cancer feels. I don't know how AIDS feels. I have no idea. But just imagine, let's say, 1,000 bullet ants on your body, and that for a very, very, very long time. Let's say 5 to 20 years. And you cannot die because the state doesn't want you to die, even though you implore it, even though you want it. No, I believe that avoiding euthanasia causes people to suffer more and more and more and more. And euthanasia is just a way to finish all that suffering.